Welcome to episode 2 and week 1 of Fire Sale franchise. Now for anybody that missed the first episode, in this series I've traded away absolutely everybody I could from the Saints for as many draft picks as possible, and then I've signed a team of a bunch of young and low rated guys, but some of these guys aren't that bad. Now I do need to go over a couple of changes I've made since the last episode. I added 1 or 2 extra players. On offense, one guy I forgot to add was Moritz Böhringer. Really half the reason why I came up with this series was so I could find a way to use him and players like him that are low rated but interesting. And then I also added Quanjo here because Silberman is out for 12 weeks. So I added him. To make space for that, I put Ifo Ekpreolumu on the injured reserve, which really is no surprise as he's out for at least 25 more weeks. So this entire season, and then some more. Also a slight change to the lineup since the last time is I've put Dion Jordan here starting at left end, Trey Flowers at right end. Both of those are right ends, but it's a better rating between the two if both of those start at both end positions. I've also added D. Milliner to the cornerback group. Specialist wise, we've got the old kickers and punters. Michael James and Kenny Bell are going to be our returners, and Isaiah Peed actually turns out to be the best third down running back option we've got, so he'll feature there quite heavily. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually excited to get rolling with this team. It's not that bad. Well, okay, it's quite bad. Keith Marshall actually was a real surprise for how good his stats are. So without further ado, let's head into the first game, and we are hosting the Raiders, and let's see how well this team can do. So things started pretty well on defense. We get them here on a 3rd and 4 in the first drive. We've got a chance at a 3 and out, and Devin Still starts to chase down Derek Carr, gets him for the sack, so we get a 3 and out to begin our season. And for our very first offensive play, we go with Keith Marshall here on a run, but it gets blown up by Dan Williams, a loss of 1 yard. That ends up resulting in a 3rd and 11 here, and Christian Hackenberg scrambles to the right, but makes a bad decision with this throw. Nobody was open, but that wasn't a great decision either. So 4th and 11, of course, we punted away, but this is a great punt by Morstead here. Drops inside the 10 and then just stops dead on the 2, gets recovered, so we hold them back on the 2-yard line. The Raiders manage to buy themselves some room here, and then this happens. Murray runs out to the right, completely uncovered, breaks that first tackle. Defender's still coming after him, but he's all the way down to the 35-yard line down from the 15. We get them to a 3rd and 1 though in the red zone, a chance to force a field goal, but Murray again breaks free. That's just a bad play call, a bad missed tackle, and they get the touchdown. After getting the ball back, we end with a 3rd and 2. We trust Marshall here, he's proven himself, and he gets the 3rd down conversion. We get a 1st down and we can keep moving. And this play just highlights the problems we had. Sudfeld wide open and Hackenberg simply misses him. Then on 3rd and 4, Isaiah Peed is the running back. Christian Hackenberg does make the completion, but it's 2 yards shy, and we've got a punt away. So the Raiders here threatening the red zone again, and nobody's here stopping Murray. Everybody's locked up in their blocks. It's down to the safeties again. Akeem Davis comes over the top, forces the fumble out of bounds, but that's a gain of around 37 yards. And here on 2nd and goal, they hand it off to Murray again, and he just absolutely slices through everybody. Nobody can get off their blocks. And here on 1st and 10 after the kickoff, we have a nice play. Christian Hackenberg here moves to the left into space, finds a wide open Sudfeld. He moves down the field for another 10 yards or so, and that's just a great play. One of few so far, but it does prove we can make plays. And here on 3rd and 3, Brandon Coleman establishes himself as pretty much the best receiver, comes down to meet the ball, turns it round the cornerback and turns upfield for an extra 6 yards or so. And then on another 3rd and 3, we go to our most reliable player, Keith Marshall, but everybody makes a perfect block and he can walk in for the touchdown. Of course, Marshall's speed there really helped out, but it was one of the few rare cases where everybody did their job perfectly. After our touchdown, the Saints get another one, and here on 1st and 10, Keith Marshall dips in there for 11 yards. A nice play through the middle, so he's shown he can go around the sides, he can go through the middle too. And Marshall's nice run was nullified by a big sack. And now we're on 3rd and 19, and we're just trying to get some field position here with the pitch, trying to give Isaiah Peed a chance, but he fumbles the ball, and the defender drops on the ball in the end zone, and it's a defensive touchdown. So at the second half, we swapped out Christian Hackenberg for Matt Barkley, and this pretty much here is the best play Barkley makes all day, an 11-yard run for the 1st down on 3rd and 10. And here on 2nd and inches, we take a deep shot down to the left, and it actually hits Tajae Sharpe, but he just drops the ball. And that's not his first or his last drop. Here on 2nd and 10, we go with Keith Marshall on another pitch, and it works out just as well, and he dashes them for about 15 yards there. So Keith Marshall just made a big play, so it's about time Brandon Coleman makes a big play, gets it here in the middle, and just charges through about 5 people to take an extra 2 yards, making it a 3rd and 1 rather than a 3rd and 3. And now we're on the 5-yard line, 1st and goal, a run through the middle with Marshall, and he almost makes it in. A final stop from a defender there because of a misplaced block by the center, but that was almost a touchdown. It's starting to become a habit to pitch on 3rd down, but with 94 speed on Marshall, you just have to do it, and he gets another touchdown on a similar play there. Just this time he didn't have to run 20 yards first. And for every good offensive play we have a bad defensive one. A pitch to the left here for Murray, people getting locked up in blocks again, a broken tackle there, a missed one there, 2 more guys coming down, there's a broken tackle, and finally a 3rd guy makes the tackle. Then on the very next play, we're playing man, and Amari Cooper just beats his man, a missed tackle again, and he just goes the rest of the way for the touchdown untouched. This play here on 2nd and 9, it's a mixture of the quarterback's fault and just a great reaction from the cornerback. The quarterback could have thrown it left more, but the cornerback just breaks on the ball quicker than the receiver and steals it away from us. And from that turnover, we give up another 3 points, but here's another great play here from Marshall, straight down the middle for about 15 yards there. Nothing's been working that well today, but Marshall has been. Even on this play, almost loses a whole bunch of yards, breaks that tackle, gets back, doesn't gain any yards, but doesn't lose any yards either. From games like this, you have to take the positives, and Marshall is a positive. A negative, Matt Barkley's interception there. Sudfeld just didn't run a good route, didn't come underneath the defender. So after 2 interceptions, not much more, we put Christian Hackenberg back in, and he has a nice completion there to Malcolm Mitchell, who then takes it to get the 1st down, 11 yards. After coming back on, Christian Hackenberg really started to throw a lot better, got some good completions, and here Brandon Coleman breaking tackles again, getting a couple of yards from what could have been lost yards. It's 1 minute 30 left, we're on 4th and 5, why not go for it this late in the game? We're already down 51-14, and that's exactly what we do, and it's Brandon Coleman again, tackle behind the line, breaks the tackle, gets over the line. Brandon Coleman we've really been able to trust today, as well as Marshall, and here Isaiah Pead fumbles again, and that's his 3rd fumble of the day. If there's one person that's been the worst, it's definitely been Pead. And here's the final play of the day, and it actually shows some promise. 2 defenders coming in, making a tough tackle for a loss of yards. We do have hope, we just didn't really have much in this game. That is game over. They threw a 50 burger on us. What a blowout. 2 scores for us is the only highlight in that terrible game, really. Absolutely awful start to the season there. 51-14 loss. But there are a couple of bright spots in this very dark day for us. So we'll take a look at how our players performed. Christian Hackenberg, I did drop during the game because he wasn't doing that well, and he did only finish with 59% completion percentage, but I think he's established himself as the absolute starter ahead of Matt Barkley, who had 38%, 2 interceptions, and pretty much nothing more going for him. We need to start looking at the plays a bit more, see if we can run some different plays. The absolute very bright spot on this dark day, Keith Marshall, 22 touches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's an average of 5.7, 3 broken tackles as well. He's not just fast, he is strong. And Isaiah Pead, an absolute disappointment. 3 fumbles. He was supposed to be our 3rd down back, the guy we can depend on, throw the ball to when we need to. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really see a long future now for Isaiah Pead on this team after 3 fumbles in 1 game. I'm always up for second chances. He will get 1 more chance, but that's about it. With that kind of display, no chance. Brandon Coleman, another good spot there. 8 catches, 80 yards, 40 yards run after catch, so another good player there. Malcolm Mitchell didn't do too badly. Tajae Sharpe dropped a lot of balls. The defense was absolutely overwhelmed for the majority of the game, but we do have a couple of players that managed to get some sacks there. No interceptions, and the amount of big plays we gave up, we do have 1 forced fumble, but that was a forced fumble out of bounds. The amount of big plays we gave up, there's no excusing that either. Akeem Davis, our free safety, shouldn't be leading in tackles, especially not the free safety, so that just shows how many times they got deep into our secondary with him making all those tackles. Trey Flowers making a lot of tackles, 6 broken tackles for Latavius Murray, 4 for Taiwan Jones, and it's not a stat carried by the receivers, but there were plenty of broken tackles there too. So not many changes after that game, but the notable ones here. Brandon Coleman now the number 1 receiver. Tajae Sharpe slipping down to the 3rd receiver. He dropped too many balls to be a number 2. And Malcolm Mitchell, who also played pretty well, moves up to wide receiver number 2. Now, a couple of concerns I can name after that game. One, the quarterbacks. So obviously half the point of this is to also draft players. Quarterback, I think the biggest need at this point. Tight end, I'm not happy with either. Zach Sudfeld just ran sluggishly. He didn't move around very quickly. I didn't like what he was offering on his routes. He wasn't opening up often. Might need to have a look at that as well. And then defense, there wasn't especially one person that was letting us down. It was the entire team not making tackles. Now we'll have to see what we can do about that. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the team, and I can say that after losing 51-14, but I'm pretty happy. I think a couple of tweaks coaching wise, stuff like that, we might do a lot better next week. Before the next episode, I am going to play with those running backs, see what I can do, and let's see if next episode we can actually win a game.